Hello and welcome to Discovering Grayslake, unveiling the stories and people that make our town so unique. I'm your host, David Bohl, and I'm thrilled to bring you this new podcast that explores fascinating stories and experiences of local business owners and community leaders, right here where we call home. Grayslake Rehabilitation Center is a community-based private practice physical therapy provider. Do you know they have 13 clinical providers with various levels of specialties, including orthopedics, sports, neurology, vestibular, geriatrics, pelvic floor, and aquatic? What? Did I just say they have a pool? Well, they do, and it's the largest indoor warm water pool in Lake County, featuring 2 underwater treadmills and swim currents. And recently added clinical treatment specialties, in layman's terms, shockwave. They have both radial and focus units that are the newest tool in regenerative medicine, available to everyone. They pride themselves on the most current and up-to-date specialized care to keep you moving. If you're looking for physical therapy, make sure to see our friends at Grayslake Rehabilitation. Wait. Grayslake has a record store? Are you ready to get into the groove? Well, I've got the perfect place for you with new and used vinyl, CDs, tapes, and more. At Andy's Records, they're not just about the hits. They're about the classics, the B-sides, the hidden gems, the vinyl vibes that make your heart skip a beat. For the record, Andy's is not your average music shop. It's a place where melodies meet memories. Andy's Records, because life sounds better with a little spin. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Discovering Grayslake. I am here at Agora again, recording. We'd like to thank everybody at Agora here for having us here. So if you're not familiar with Agora, we're on the corner of Atkinson and Center Street. It's a co-working space, so if you guys are looking for an office for a day, for a week, or any length of time, just come talk to Luke, and he will hook you up. It's a great way to get out of the house and have your own office. So I thank them for letting me record here. So shout out to Agora. I am here today with Eric Bohl. And I didn't realize how much we had in common. So welcome, Eric.
Welcome, thank you.
All right, so I don't even know where to start with you. Like, if I've finally met somebody that maybe does as much or more than I do in a day.
That's a stretch. I know you do a lot. Yeah, and on top of it, I do have a day job, contrary to popular belief. You know, it's like the 9 to 5, and they're like, well, you're also involved in all these other things, and it's just incredible, you know.
Yeah, so it's about time management, really.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
Or lack thereof.
Right. Well, ADHD sometimes helps all of us get done, because I couldn't do everything that I do without that tool, I say.
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's start with this. So since you mentioned it, what's your
All right, so we'll get that one. With the 9 to 5, get it out of the way. I'm a manager of recruiting for a software company out of Chicago. They're called Basis. We're in the advertising technology space. I've got a team all over North America. We're about 1,000 employees, nothing crazy. So I help build all the different teams within our company, and been doing that from a day job perspective, at least, let's put it that way. Right. For almost 10 years. I've been with Basis for 5, and fortunate enough to work from home now, so it's even more free time.
Right.
Or
more distraction.
Right. Yeah. That, you know, is to do all that. So I enjoy it, and it pays the bills. Keeps me happy, keeps the wife happy.
Yeah, it's nice after being an entrepreneur for a long time when you actually, what it's like to have a steady paycheck.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it can drive all the other businesses that you want to do.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so I'm going to go with the first thing that I know you from.
Okay.
And that I've heard lots of people, a lot of respect for a lot of things that you've done, revolving around Jeeps.
Yes.
So why don't you take me back and take everybody that doesn't know everything about that story and how that actually evolves and comes to be.
Yeah, so the Lake County Jeep Club, if you haven't seen a Jeep with a sticker or a logo of some kind, a flag, a convoy of Jeeps anywhere in Lake County, I'd be really shocked, and you probably live under a rock at this point. I actually started it up 3 years ago, give or take, and it's funny how that came to fruition. I'll run through that real quick for you. So my mom actually bought a Jeep Wrangler, and so she actually came home with it and was had a cooler car than I did. It had some mods on it already, and I was driving a GMC Terrain at the time. Got me to A to B, no big deal. And then I started looking at Wranglers online. Ended up buying one kind of off a whim. Came home with it, and I didn't even know at the time there was this whole Jeep community. And once I owned my Jeep, I had people waving at me. I'm like, what is going on? What is all this? And one thing came to another. I found out there's events for Jeeps. They get together, they get coffee, they go off-roading, they go camping. But I looked it up, and there's nothing anywhere close. Like there's a group out past Naperville, out past Rockford, out past Milwaukee, and I was like, I'm not driving 2 hours to have coffee with some Jeeps. And actually, there's a couple of guys you had on your show recently over at Wolf's Barber. I go over there. I've been going there for years, and barbershop talk, right?
Right.
And we're like, oh, I want to start something up, and we kept talking about it. Oh, what if we did this, and Mel and Kano, man, they pushed me like, do it. You keep talking about it. Just do it already and just shut up about it. And so I put together this little event of just like get together. I picked up some Dunkin' Donuts, and Wolves was nice enough to, hey, use our parking lot, got it cleared with the landlord, all that stuff. And we're like, I would have been ecstatic with 10, 12 Jeeps showed up.
Yeah, how'd that work?
The very
out?
First event, we had 45 show up, and I was like,
wow.
Oh, so this is a thing.
I didn't know that they were involved in with you. That's great.
Yeah,
Nice to have support from cool dudes.
Oh, and the community around it has just been incredible. Just and it kind of grew into a real thing. Let's call it that. I would definitely not like an organization, I guess, lack of a better word, but with the goal of really supporting the community and supporting veterans. So whatever we did was one or the other, or sometimes we went and had fun. We, in full transparency, actually, I stepped down in January just to take on some new endeavors. But within 2.5 years, we had 2,800 members, Lake County, South Milwaukee, McHenry area. So all pretty close. And we ran all kinds of fundraisers partnered with Veterans Path to Hope out of Crystal Lake, help homeless veterans get back on their feet. Our largest events of the year is at the Lake County Fairgrounds. We had off-roading and vendors, and again, raising funds for our veterans, to doing things right here in downtown Grayslake. Partnered with Chris Acker and his Jeep for Vets group. We shut down Center Street, brought in hundreds and hundreds of Jeeps in. Again, fun activity that, again, raised awareness and funds for our veterans. Or we do a lot of takeovers. We'd go to like a local mom and pop coffee shop or a restaurant, or we did an axe throwing event, stuff like that. Or, 40 of us convoy out to Tennessee and go off-roading through the trails. So,
fun.
Whatever you could do with a Jeep, we found a way to do it.
That's awesome. So my first question is, why and how did you pick veterans as your charitable organization?
Yeah, it was kind of two-sided. So my uncle, rest his soul, passed away a few years ago, but I was very involved with him for veteran things because he was a bigwig with the VFW. So I'd always kind of just in my life been doing things with him around all of that. And then Jeeps are just synonymous with the military aspect. There's a lot of history around. They made a big impact in World War II, and they just kind of always been around. And it just there's a big population of veterans within the Jeep community itself. So it kind of just made sense. It just kind of aligned in itself. There were already kind of events that were, again, farther away that did Jeeps for veterans, again, that correlations, and it made sense. So it was in my blood to do it and made sense with Jeeps, so it kept that going.
Wow, that's fun. So you're still involved with stuff like that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I'm working directly a lot with Veterans Path to Hope still. Still going to help Chris Acker out with his Jeep for Vet stuff. He's a local. And even with Lake County Jeep Club, despite the fact I'm not, running it, it's not my baby anymore. They're still doing great things. Their big events in August, so it's pushing that for them, helping, because again, all for a great cause.
Great. So somebody that's listening right now that doesn't drive a Jeep, and I don't drive a Jeep. I'm going to say honestly that anybody listening to the show that knows me knows that I don't like Jeeps.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
But how does someone like me support your cause?
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways. Just straight donation, through LakeCountyJeepClub.com. That money goes directly to the charity we're supporting at the time. Showing up to the events. You don't even have to have a Jeep. The Jeep Invasion is a great one. There's a lot of things to see, do with the kids that, again, you don't have to have a Jeep. Or the Jeep for Vets event in May, again, downtown Grayslake takeover. It's all about supporting local businesses, bringing food and stuff like that the veterans need. Again, are all great ways to get involved, and you just don't have to have a Jeep because they're just cool to look at sometimes.
Right. No, that's awesome, and I tip my hat to you too for doing that, because I love to see people find what their passion is and find a way to give back for community involvement and to give to a great cause.
Absolutely.
That needs it. All right, so we're I have a whole list of things here. So we're get done with Jeeps, and I was talking about all the similarities that we have. So before we started recording, Eric let me know that he worked with me a while ago, or way while ago.
A little bit, yeah, just a little bit.
It just shows me how old I am. But, and we have a mutual friend, and it had to do with music at the Marriott Lincolnshire. So yeah, wow.
That was a different lifetime.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to talk about half of that. I have a restraining order that I'm not allowed to talk about most of that. But the other things that I saw that you do, and it seems like you're really big into photography.
Yeah, photography is, that's in my blood. That goes back. My grandmother was a photographer. She was really, really big into it. I've been around a camera for as long as I can remember. But really, I took it into a professional level. How old am I? Math, carry the 4, move the decimal. Probably like around 15 years in some way, shape, or form. But and I'll do anything photography related, probably other than a wedding anymore. Right. Weddings are a different beast, a lot of pressure. Bless all the brides out there, but that's just not my cup of tea. But it goes back that I like leveraging my photography, which is a skill I have, to help. And then on the other side is my small business support. I know a lot of restaurant owners, a lot of people that have their e-commerce or a product, or just need a professional headshot, and just working with them to, get the right material out there to really present, whether it's their food or whatever it is out there. And I just love doing that. And on the flip side of it, the fine art side of it, creating something that instills emotion. Yeah. It's like, I just like somebody looks at something and either thinks it's weird or beautiful or
both
or both. It just, takes them back to a thought from a hometown memory, but, it's just something that instills inspiration or an emotion. Is really cool to see too.
Gotcha. So when you say you like working with small businesses and you like doing the headshots, and back to the headshots, it always blows me away how many business owners I know that just don't have a professional headshot.
Or it's from like 1999.
Right, and they have hair and they never used to have hair. So I think updating your, because people like to see the people that run the businesses and they like to get to know them. Hence the reason that we do these shows too. So, so get a professional headshot, people. Please. Serious. Well, Eric's information will be on here for you. So with the photography of the headshots and your food shots and doing that with businesses, do you have other businesses that go to help small businesses? Like, I know you do some SEO stuff.
Yeah, so there's kind of a large skill set that seems to just keep growing of things that support small business. Whether I do a lot of drone stuff, helping out. I've done like inspection stuff with it. I've done real estate photography is now getting really into the drone side of it, which is just a new element. But SEO is a big thing. You got a website, you've got a restaurant, but if no one can find it on Google, it's kind of pointless.
Amen.
Or anything in the digital marketing space. I'm fortunate my day job has taught me a lot of things around like paid search and paid social, how to, change your top of funnel. The definition insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting something different.
Yep.
And, some of the business aspects of how that digital marketing works, that's just not a business owner's forte, and helping them understand that from the ground up, whether it's from a Facebook ad to a targeted email, how those things look like and what the ROI can actually be if done well, right. Is another thing that I've tried to talk through with these businesses on.
We're taking a quick break just to say hello because everybody knows Nano, and Nano knows real estate. And actually, I believe that's the name of her Instagram page. So if you're looking to buy a home, sell a home, or know somebody in the market for a home, contact Nano from Baird & Warner. She's a Grayslake girl helping out Grayslake people. All right, I call it Roy, by the way, because I don't know what ROI means. Just kidding. No, but it's funny that people don't understand the digital marketing aspect, but these days, all it is digital marketing. There's people that are still doing print stuff, God bless them. But if they don't know how to do that and they don't understand that, we used to make videos for people, and when we try to do SEO for them, a video is worth nothing. People spend thousands and thousands of dollars making a video, but if nobody sees it, it's worth nothing, right? Like building a website or having their photos out. If they don't understand it, it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
It's fascinating that you like drones. How did you get into drone stuff?
I'll blame COVID.
Okay.
I had a lot of free time. Obviously, my day job is hiring, and for 2020, I don't think anybody was hiring anywhere unless you were a hospital.
Right.
So I was fortunate enough. I still kept my job through that time, and I became what my wife likes to call a serial hobbyist. I learned to smoke
Serial
weed.
hobbyist.
I learned to. I found a tunnel down YouTube of a bunch of drone photographers, and I was like, that looks cool. And there's a lot of open space. I got to be outside. I'm just trying to keep my sanity.
Right.
So, thanks to B&H, I had a drone the next day on my front porch. And
that's awesome.
Just started out just flying around town here in Grayslake. I actually ended up getting some cool water tower shots. And
I just looked at one. Yeah. That's what I do too.
Yeah.
I'm looking at your water tower shots, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute, this is fun. We should go out and fly together
Dude,
sometime.
like a photo off kind of thing.
We could.
That would be cool.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
And do Grayslake photos, and we could have...
challenge
we
accepted.
could battle each other to see. Although I have probably 7,000 of them on my computer right now. So.
No, it's got to be fresh. It's got to be clean.
We'll show you the timestamp to make sure that we're fine.
Let me see that metadata. Yeah.
Exactly. Reminds me I have a job to do for the high school that I need to do very quick, so thank you for a reminder of that.
No problem.
Okay, so drone stuff, photography stuff. So do you see yourself keeping your full-time job as long as it keeps...
Well, I hope my boss isn't listening.
Yeah.
But if she is, she knows that at some point I'm going to end up building something and having something going that'll become my full-time job.
Good for you.
What exactly that looks like, my wife would love to know.
Right.
But I would love to know.
Right.
But yeah, there will be at some point probably something related to like marketing, digital marketing, that will probably become a full-time thing.
Yeah, I always tell people, well, if I grow up, I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Like, once we get done with doing this or this or this or this. So your passion right now also that we were speaking about too, that you have a new podcast that's going to come out.
Yes.
Are we allowed to talk about this?
We can talk about it.
Good.
Cat's out of the bag. I did
All
make an announcement about it. Somewhat similar to yours, so at least thank you for letting me still be on your podcast.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we just work together.
Yeah.
We just get stronger together.
Exactly. What is that? Competition's a good thing, right?
It's always a good thing.
Right.
Wait, you're going to compete with me now?
I mean, we're going to collaborate.
Okay.
Collaborate. Yeah, there we go.
I'm not fun to compete with.
So I am starting a podcast. I've got a bunch of interviews already under my belt with it, just to get them ready, rocking and rolling. But really, it leans into the side of it of wanting to support small business. There are a lot of businesses that are ran out of basements here, all over Lake County. There are e-commerce. There are great guys in even construction and window tinting to home anything, and I just want to help them get the spotlight they deserve. I think a big thing you'll hear me say many, many times is, small business, the engine to the country. It's really the people that, are the backbone. God bless my Amazon Prime, but it's saved my butt. But plenty of times, but as much as every day, I try to support local. And so the podcast is just one element of kind of this bigger picture I'm putting together. I'm working with a couple experts in different elements of digital marketing that are even beyond what I know, and some sales training coaches. And we're going to be offering kind of like a digital marketing and or sales package for free for small businesses. I know a lot of small businesses that, they know their product well, they know their services well, but they're missing that element of, great, now how do I get this in front of the people? How do I close the deal to get those people to use those services or buy those products? And this is going to be an offering, like a one-on-one coaching for them, and they can expand beyond that. But it's our offering to just support these businesses through what I feel is one of the most competitive, not even competitive, that's not even the right word, one of the hardest times to be having a small business. Everything's working against them.
Absolutely.
So how can we help them?
Absolutely.
And that's what we're giving back to them doing that.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
What inspired you to do that?
Watching too many good small businesses fail over something dumb. If they had just had a little help a little earlier, somebody willing to give them the 10 minutes and not have some big consulting firm coming in and saying they need to pay $500,000 to this, that's all just cookie cutter PowerPoints. I've watched myself, I'm a serial entrepreneur myself. I've started a lot of things and things I wish I had known.
Oh my God, yes.
And sometimes it's just hard to learn those lessons the hard way.
Right.
And so if I can help just, one company, that ends up taking off just because they just don't think of it that way. That's just not the way their brain works. That's not the side of the business they know. It's just another way I love giving back to the community. So if And if you're a veteran and a small business owner, you'll probably get even extra from me.
Right. So yes, make the phone call now. It's funny when you say stuff like that, especially because I think a lot of people are very good at what they do. Like, I have so many people that I know, they run fantastic small businesses, and I don't even realize it doesn't open my eyes until I call them and say, hey, can you send me a transparent logo? And then, well, wait, what is that? So I'll send you that, and then, so like a JPEG? We're just,
close.
We're
getting there.
We're getting warmer. And I'm not making fun of them, but at the same point, it's hard for people to be specialized in one craft. But then when it comes to the digital marketing spot, it's not, things have changed so much.
Yeah.
And people that's their bread and butter, that they poured their heart and souls into something to do to feed their family, to make a livelihood, but they simply don't know how to make it work or to get visibility.
Yeah.
It's hard. So
I'm working with this one client right now, and he swears by newspaper ads still.
Really?
I'm like, please just ask anybody in your family how many of them bought a newspaper in the last 2 years.
Right. Everybody listening, raise your hand if you read the newspaper.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, that looks about right.
That's right. It looks right from here. And back in the day, that was it. I mean, Yellow Pages and newspaper ads, right? Yeah. Which, that's another business that kind of just disappeared.
Yeah.
A lot of the print ad stuff has changed. So, but with that being said, I'm sorry I interrupted you there.
No, you're dead.
How is that working for him? Are you able to help him to get out of that mindset?
It's tough. It's an uphill battle. I mean, somebody who's so ingrained in the old school mentality, let's call it that, it's, again, showing him the ROI on it, or the ability that he can do it himself, and it's not as hard as you want it to be. It doesn't have to be a production. It doesn't have to be 12 cameras and a whole light setup and, editing software. It's like, you have a cell phone. Great. That's all you need. You can start there.
Start there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we shoot so many business videos, and I would encourage, especially small businesses, and I believe Eric will agree, especially from being a video guy as well, that people don't understand the value of putting their personality and putting a face behind these small businesses, which it sounds like both of you and I are giving opportunity for people to have a voice, people to know that I've had people through this show that will go shop or maybe get their hair cut at Wolf's Barbershop now because they think they're really cool guys. It doesn't matter. It's not even the haircut at that point. It's about the people. And I think when people understand that, they can drive more business to themselves.
Yeah, I mean, I keep going to Wolf's because my guy Diego,
right.
Come on.
Right, exactly. And the beard looks good, too, by the way.
Yeah, just Friday, I just saw him. He thought I'd been living in a cave. I was like a little late. I think it had been almost like 2 months. And I was like, ooh, yeah, no. And I think, kind of to your point, just to double down on here, is that, there's a lot of very similar products, a lot of very similar services, and it's like, what sets you apart 90% of the time in a small business space is you. And if people don't know who you are, don't know your story or why you're doing it or what your goals are, everyone wants the story now. And that's, if you're not willing to share it, well, then why choose you over Joe Schmo down the street?
Exactly.
Or go to Walgreens and get what they need. It's like,
right.
So,
right. And with that being said, I'd like to let everybody know that anybody that's on Eric's podcast and on my podcast, the fact if you haven't embedded your podcast, your business story onto your website right now, you are missing all of the value.
Yeah, completely.
Because people like to know it, and I don't think there's very many people that do that.
No.
But also when their podcast comes out, they get phone calls saying, oh, I never knew that about you.
Yeah.
Imagine a new client or somebody that's not even in our community that would hear that and go, wow, that's a great. So put it on your damn website. What are you doing?
At least, at minimum.
Yes.
Your Instagram story, a TikTok, anything. Somewhere, please. That is probably one of the first things we talk about when we meet with these companies. It's just like, where's your story?
Right. Your brand identity for most of these small businesses is them.
Yep.
Yeah. So they need to get that out there. So, yeah, this is it's going to cost you guys. We're charging by the hour to listen to this for free business advice. But it's funny that when we do, small business videos that we try to push all the time, that it's nice to talk to somebody who gets it. It's invaluable.
Yeah.
Just even the face, just to see the face behind the people. And anybody that's ran a small business knows how hard it is to do.
I mean, it's even with your podcast. I mean, foot and mouth. I think I know everybody who's been on your podcast, if not pretty close to it.
Yeah.
But there's parts of those stories like I didn't even know, and it just made me love those businesses that much more. and I'm already a customer. Imagine somebody who's not, and it's just incredible to be like, get that out there. It didn't take much, you know. You had to spend an hour with Dave, but
I mean,
you know,
yeah, that's grueling enough. They didn't have to pay for it, but boy, did they pay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, so you have that. So that's a business. So how are you able to do that and offer those services for free?
The good of our hearts, let's put it that way. You know, for us, it's only time we're giving, and I think what we'll see. You know, and it's free. Let's call it the base package, not to sound like a sales rep here, but you know, all four of us that are involved, you know, have a different background in some sense for business, and if they want to take it further, I mean, we'll offer that obviously at a cost, but that's not our goal. You know, our group is in a good place where, you know, giving our time back, you know, whether, you know, some people volunteer at Feed the Starving Children, some, you know, give money because they can, and some, you know, go down and, you know, to pads and help them out. So there's different ways to give back to the community, and a lot of times it's time to give up, and this is how we're going to do it. Right. You know, and if there helps the whole community, creates more jobs, stimulates the economy, you know, that's something how do you put a value around that?
No,
you know?
Absolutely. So are we allowed to say the name of or do you guys have an organization that people can get a hold of if you need this kind of help, or is it not at that point?
We're not at that point. Right now we're working through like kind of a referral introduction piece. Okay. We want to work out a few of the kinks on, you know, what it looks like.
You may get a few calls after this.
Yeah, no, and you can reach out to me. You know, my website, you know, it's technically my creative website, eric-bohl.com. Definitely get the conversation started. There are kind of what we're trying to figure out what are, you know, who qualifies, maybe is the best way to kind of put it. You know, everybody, you know, what's our definition of a small business, right? Sure. And so we're working through what that looks like, how much help we are going to guarantee for call it the free package, and then what it looks like beyond that. But, you know, it's looking to come together really, really well, and hopefully we don't get too overwhelmed, like you said.
Right. And not bite off more than you can chew at the same time.
But we have plenty of tidbits, too. If, you know, it's a 15-minute phone call with somebody just to pick a brain about. Great. Sure. Cool. Let's jump on a call. Let's talk about digital marketing. To use that new word for you, I can't believe even some people, well, what do you mean digital? Like, well,
right.
Okay.
Wait, now my phone hangs up. No, or it would be nice to be able to help somebody, just even if it's as simple as anything.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I was spent. There was a organization I was working with just how to set up a QR code, because they, you know, no one carries cash anymore, right. and they needed a way to accept donations at their events, like a Venmo kind of thing, and it was just like they had no idea how to set that up, and that little bit brought more money coming back in for them, and it was just like.
I was surprised at the Bachelor auction, because we had all the QR codes on the TV, all the 50/50 raffle things had QR codes on them, or how many people that didn't know how to use them. And I'm not putting anybody down, because obviously everybody did a wonderful job, and I'm appreciative of everything they did. But at the same point, it was kind of one of those eye-opening, like wait,
wow, yeah.
Venmo? What is that Venmo thing? The QR code, or how do I capture this QR code off the screen? But I think it's an age thing too, right? But that's what we do. And I probably have no idea that they're business.
Or we live in technology, you know. It's like we live, breathe it. You know, it's like maybe they're in an industry that, you know, they don't touch it. You know.
And some people are old school, and they
print newspaper ads. You know.
See, exactly. So it's a good way to do that. Okay, so you have your hands full. So you have your normal job, or we'll call it your 9 to 5 job, not a normal job. So your 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
You're doing the great stuff with Jeep stuff, obviously, and your whole digital marketing and / podcast things, flying drones
all the time.
What am I leaving out so far?
Gosh,
I think everything comes back into one thing, one way or another.
Really, it does. I think the other part of it that bleeds into 9 to 5 and all of this is, you know, the mysterious word of AI.
Oh yes, let's talk AI.
God, how much time you got? We could be here till Thursday, you know.
Well, if we may be talking to people that don't know how to use QR codes, the whole AI thing might blow them away.
Yeah.
So maybe tell them, let's get a couple quick fun tidbits on how AI plays into what you're doing.
Oh man, fun tidbits on AI. AI is amazing and scary all at the same time. Yeah. You know, if you check out my Instagram, Eric B1408.
Yeah,
correct me if I'm wrong. I think I should know that by now.
I was just looking through it. Yes, I think that's it.
I just announced my podcast, and there's an audio on there it's a voiceover, and it's completely AI created. and the script for it, that was AI created, and I threw it all into one thing. It kicked out, and I had it in a minute. Where before you'd have to have somebody write up the script. I'm not a writer. I'm on that right now. I'm not in that creative sense.
Absolutely.
And then you have to pay somebody to be the voiceover. You have to take 100 takes. Nope. I used ChatGPT. It created me a script based on some of the things I was looking for. Kicked that out in a few seconds, and then took that writing, plugged it into another AI app, and kicked out the audio that sounds as real as you and me right here on this podcast. And It's unreal.
Did you have it learn your voice?
I did not do that. It's not the one I was using, but I've heard that one.
I've tried it with mine.
I did one of the song covers I took one of the Jelly Roll songs, and it was like, oh my god, I sound like I can actually sing, and it's like unreal. And it sounds like me singing Jelly Roll songs.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, but I can't sing at all.
I love, there's so many tools, and like you said, it's scary, but there's some extremely valuable stuff to it. But it's funny that after you use ChatGPT for a while, like when people are making their social posts, I'm always like, I'll call them and be like, hey, how's your ChatGPT working out for you today?
Yeah, right.
But the fear for mine for digital marketing and for making social posts with that is that I can tell the difference.
Yeah. And it's only going to get better. Though.
It's going.
I mean, I can tell you the comparison in the past year. Or one thing. I mean, turn the tables here on you too is AI photography or photos. It's not photography. It's photos. It's like I think there are jobs that are going to be challenged or taken away in a sense, but there's still things that just can't be done. At least yet. Let's put it that way.
Not yet.
Yeah.
But yes.
But now they're even talking about building a level of AI within our, our high-end cameras and stuff too, and it's just like, wow. Yeah. I mean, I feel kind of bad if you're thinking about going to school for graphic design or something like that, or it just came out, man. It's tough because I mean, I've got like a Canva Pro, and it's got AI now, and I can type, hey, I need a Facebook ad talking about my event for this, and this color, and they already has my branding recognized from everything else I've done, and it kicks me back that I don't have to even make it anymore, let alone hire somebody to do it. Canva kicks it out within seconds for me.
Yes, I haven't played too much with it, but I have the same level thing, and I'll type in different things like you need this or this or this, or a combination of things.
Yeah.
And even some of the photography things, I want a picture of a grandma sitting in front of a fireplace
stock
with
photo stuff.
Yeah, like whoa, yeah, or a background that includes this, and you don't need to go into iStock photo anymore or anything like that. They could print out.
I had a stock photo of an apple that made me like, over a period of a year or 10 years, it made me like $4,000. It was on one of those like iStock photos or whatever. Yeah. Now I mean, a picture of an apple, it's like not paying some guy, $5 to have, the rights for commercially. It's like unreal.
Yeah, it's funny because yesterday, I don't know if it's on the same thing, but iStock, I got how much money I made off of drone photos on there, and it was kind of funny to look at and go, oh, okay, maybe I should have more of these on here. Well, for a while anyway.
I mean, drone probably is what's left, It's
yes, I need aerial photography, the Wisconsin Dells and the Wisconsin River with a pontoon boat coming down. I don't think it's there quite yet, but
give it a year.
Well, I got to quit putting my photos in there so it learns them and knows them.
Yeah, right. Well, that's the whole other problem, too, is the big argument. That's where the scary part is where it scrapes all this information.
Yes.
And it's like, if you guys don't think there's anything on the internet about you, you're wrong, first off.
Absolutely.
Everyone's on the internet.
Right.
And nothing's private. And these Chat AI or ChatGPT AI programs are pretty much scanning all of it.
Yes.
And that's where its information's coming from.
Yes. We were on my friend's computer, and we asked it to write an AI summary of the Discovering Grayslake podcast. And it came up with like a 9-paragraph thing and also highlights of different episodes or things that I had written in there about different guests and everything.
Yeah.
So it knows everything about that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, and it works so fast because even if it included like maybe not the week before his episode or the week before that, and I was like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, go on there and ask it to write a summary about yourself. But sometimes it does, you have to be on a different one. So
yeah.
I don't want to see the
Maybe I don't want to see that summary.
No, not at all. Not at all. So with your foundations where you're giving back and you're helping out small businesses, do you have? I know you and I probably like. Everybody says, what do you plan on doing in 5 years? And I'm like, fuck, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, who knows where stuff takes us. So do you have a grand goal of what you would call success for yourself that you want to be at?
No.
How about tomorrow?
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, we even talked. We talked about the Jeep Club. Like, that came out of the blue. Like, there was no sense in any mind of any Jeep Club. 6 months before that thing started, I didn't even own a Jeep. I didn't even know that community existed and how big it is. And like, yeah, we get all the cult crap from people about it, but we do a lot of good. But
so if your mom wouldn't have bought a Jeep,
it would never have happened. And that's how little, like, some things that small.
Thin threads, I call it.
Yeah.
Just the little tiny things that happen that lead you.
Everything. And so, what's next in my life that's going to trigger that?
Right.
We've talked a lot about a lot of things here just in Grayslake happening that could totally change directions of my own events, and Absolutely. It's like, so we'll see. 5 years, I hope. My goal in life, let's put it this way, okay? I'm going to say a successful life is that when I'm gone, there is something worth talking about me for.
Sure. Legacy.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to leave a legacy, and I want, not whether it's just if it's family, friends, that's fine, but when I die and move on, like, somebody's going to be there and be like, wow, he did all this, or he did this, like, thank him, like, I just love giving back, and I want to be able to pass that down.
Right.
So.
No, that's awesome. All right, so if you've listened to episodes, Eric, we're going to go to and do a quick thing we call the Grayslake Hot Seat, if you're okay with that.
Yeah.
It's time for the Grayslake Hot Seat. The Grayslake Hot Seat today is brought to you by Premier Chiropractic. Dr. John, conveniently located in historical downtown Grayslake. Premier Chiropractic offers you a full range of chiropractic care. John is dedicated to treating people within our community and showing them the benefit of great, convenient, affordable chiropractic care. So if you're looking to get straightened out, go see Dr. John at Premier Chiropractic. Now for the Grayslake Hot Seat.
And I'm going to try to jump around here a little bit, especially after I do multiple episodes recording in one day. It's really actually fun for me because I get to find out a lot of different things about people.
Yeah.
So how many episodes do you think you've listened to?
6 or 7 for sure.
Okay. That's good. I love when people... None.
Yeah.
None. So we'll start off, I think with you, I think it's more important that we start off extremely serious. What is the name of the street that you grew up on?
Well, it's not in Grayslake.
It doesn't matter.
Oak Knoll Drive.
Oak Knoll.
Yeah.
And then what's the name of your first pet?
Sheena.
So your porn star name is Oak Knoll Sheena?
Yep.
Okay. Sheena Oak Knoll we'll go with.
And
moving on. Okay,
next.
so what's your favorite Grayslake event to attend?
I'm going to be biased, and it's the Remember 22 Jeep for Vets events.
Okay. Awesome. And when does that usually... Is that a yearly event?
It's a yearly event. It's close to May 22nd. It's around suicide awareness for Remember 22.
Gotcha. Understood. And I've seen flyers for that in business cards at a lot of local establishments as well. If you had to have a superpower, what would it be?
Read minds.
Really? You'd be in the wrong room for that today.
Should I be worried?
It's purely nothing sexual, I assure you. If that's what you're worried about.
Oh,
anyway,
God.
So.
Now I am.
Anyway, yes. So those two first questions worked really well. What was the first car you ever owned?
A 1986 Pontiac Parisian Brougham.
Wow. What color was that?
It was black with a red interior.
That's actually kind of cool.
It was. It was really cool. It was a big old boat. Actually saved my life.
Really?
Yeah.
How did that happen?
It was New Year's Eve, got in a big car accident. Not me, my fault. And if it wasn't this big steel, actually well-made car, and not one of these new plastic ones, we probably wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation.
Oh. Well, thank God for your first car.
Yeah, to this day.
Tell me a place you'd like to travel that you haven't been.
Oh, Iceland. It is like number one on my list. I'm like dying to get out there.
Okay, does that have anything to do with you being a photographer?
That's part of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably got to be one of the most beautiful places in the world. And
I agree with you. I would love to go there. And I will have a drone with me.
And I probably won't want to come back. But yeah, right. Hey.
That would be awesome. Who is the funniest person that you know?
Oh my God, Matt Williams. No question. The guy's absolutely ridiculous.
You didn't even hesitate.
No, man. He's actually he just recently joined the Grayslake Fire Department. He's hilarious.
Really?
Yeah, funny guy.
Awesome. Have you ever eaten a roller dog from a gas station?
A what?
A roller dog. You know
Oh my God, I've never heard of. I call that, but now that you're saying it, I know it, and I know but I've had gas station sushi as a runner-up.
Okay, and you were laughing at the hot dogs from the gas station.
But they're out there like in the open and like, oh man, you can sometimes even see the hair. Like, I don't, man, I can't do it.
Maybe you're downplaying how good they are.
Costco hot dog all day.
Okay. If you had to have a theme party at your house, what would it be?
I'm gonna say like Great Gatsby, like Roaring Twenties. I think you can never go wrong. You know, the Capone and the Flappers and just good music.
Awesome. Love it. Did you play sport in high school?
I did. Track and football.
Track and football. What position in football?
Wide receiver and free safety.
Right. And then the track?
Sprinting, 100, 400, 4x1, 200.
Wow. Okay, good.
I was a fast kid back then.
Really?
Yeah.
For you. What's your favorite podcast that you listen to of mine?
Of your podcast?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm gonna have to say the guys at Wolves, man. They're awesome. Good friends of mine. They've done a lot for the community. Myself, they're just good people.
Awesome. When you eat tacos, do you tilt your head to the right or the left?
Left.
And he did it. And he just made sure that everybody has to do it. I think the mayor is the only one, the person that didn't do it. And I was like, hey, come on, man, you're supposed to do this. Favorite movie of all time.
That one's tough, but I'm gonna go with The Game with Michael Douglas.
Nice little psychological mind-bending. Yeah.
I love watching it the first time with people, and the ending, and they're like, I'm like, yep, I remember that feeling.
That's what we were doing. Hey, bartender, can I have a
dry Manhattan?
Really? I didn't peg you for that, and I've actually never had a dry Manhattan. That may change very soon. Do you have a go-to karaoke song?
Oh God, no! I stay off of that. I mean, there's a couple Manhattans. Maybe we'll start talking about karaoke.
Tell me about the second time you got arrested.
Oh man, paintballed a stop sign.
This is the second time you got arrested.
This is the second time I got arrested. And paintball, it doesn't ruin anything, it doesn't say anything, but cops didn't like it.
Paintball a stop sign. I mean,
punk kids, you know.
Exactly. You're supposed to have fun.
We were.
Right.
And then
out of 60 some, I think you're only the second one that's actually been honest and talked about it. So that's good. I appreciate that. I'm not going to mention mine. Have you ever won an award?
Yes. A couple.
Okay, tell me the one you're most proud of then.
I was more of a recognition than really an award. There's an organization out of Lake Forest called Croya.
Yeah. I know Croya.
I was very involved with Croya. I was actually the student architect on the board when they were building their standalone new building.
Yeah.
Did a ton fundraising for them and kind of got recognized there as like the student person for that project. And it was just a big part of my life. Again, talk about legacy. You'll be able to go back years and years, and then that building I had a huge involvement on and stuff. So it was really cool.
That's awesome, and something definitely to be proud of.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's for sure. What do you? Is there something you wish you'd learned earlier in life? Besides not.
Yes.
Yes.
Something I finally did learn, I wish I did learn way earlier, was not to be afraid of the unknown. I felt like I needed to know everything before I started something, and that's put me, I would even say, years behind on doing things that I do today, because I thought I had to know it all before I started it, or be an expert in something before I started it. And now it's like, no, I realize, no, you're going to learn a lot of it on the fly. You're going to make mistakes, and I thrive in that now versus fear it.
Well, it's interesting that you're able to make that change, because most people don't make that change.
Yeah.
Wow, good for you. You're the opposite of me. I just say, fuck it, I'm going for it, and I'll figure this out as I go along. Hence the reason I've made a lot of mistakes, but that's just the way it goes. How many days in a row can you wear the same pair of jeans without washing them?
3, unless it's August.
I can get that. I understand that. Have you met a celebrity, and who was it?
Yeah, I've met a handful, but I think the most notable one probably Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
He's from my hometown, so ran into him a few times.
Awesome. What's the last thing you purchased on Amazon?
A third mic for my podcast.
Nice.
I just ordered it this morning.
I would suggest to get more than that too,
Yeah.
because you can't have enough microphones anyway. Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
Pool or ocean?
Pool.
How many times do you exercise per week?
3 to 4.
What's your favorite candy?
Chocolate.
What makes you sweaty?
Everything.
I never get the chance or the opportunity to have a guest where I feel very comfortable asking questions like that. What do you put on your pizza?
Anything but fruit.
Anything?
I guess tomatoes are fruit technically, but yeah, leave that pineapple out of there.
Okay. Middle name?
Andrew.
And would the 12-year-old version of yourself think you're cool?
Hell yeah.
Okay. If you had to write a book, what would it be about?
If I had to write a book, what would it be about?
Yeah.
I would probably write a book about the kind of what we were just talking about, but the fear thing. Like, don't fear the unknown. Embrace it. Go for it, man. Otherwise you'll always be waiting to pull the trigger. You'll be waiting to do, and you'll never do anything.
Amen. And that's how many people have their dreams of things that they like to start or do or be a part of something, and they have the fear of going forward and actually getting after it.
Yeah.
Okay. Done with that. I want to hear about, you have a charity event that you're putting together, art gallery.
Yeah.
Thing, and hopefully in Grayslake, correct?
Yeah, so I'm hoping it will stay in Grayslake. It's starting to get a little bit bigger, but I've actually, somebody you just recently met, Sandra and Aaron with Sienna Lifestyle, hoping to use their location for an art show for fundraising. This one's a little different. We're actually, the funds are going to go to St. Jude's.
Excellent cause.
Yeah, they're they just do everything amazing down there for so many families. But we're using local artists, from photographers to sculptors, wood carvers, anything alike. We're going to set it up. You're going to open bar. Proceeds of all the sales of art is going to go to St. Jude's. Obviously at raffle items. Who doesn't like a good raffle item?
Amen.
50-50. How can you not have it? It's a charitable event. But our goal is kind of just a little bit more something formal. I'm not going to make a black tie. Gosh,
right.
I don't even want to get into a black tie,
right.
But, local artists at a local spot for, just a good cause. And then again, promoting those artists, promoting, hopefully we can keep here at Sienna before it's getting kind of big. So I'm a little worried on the size at this point. But, supporting a local great spot, local entrepreneurs again. So.
Right. Kind of putting all of your loves back from the arts, from photography to giving back to small business entrepreneurs, like a little bit of everything.
Yeah, I try. I mean, it's like, why not? If I can make them all work together.
Right. And I guess I should have started in the beginning with this. So what is your tie? I know you've lived in Grayslake, what, 8 years?
8 years.
8 years. So where did you grew up in Lake Forest, obviously?
Yeah, grew up in Lake Forest, yep.
And then you moved to Grayslake because of marriage, because of job, because of where you wanted to go? How did that work?
Because of my beautiful, beautiful wife, Jacqueline. She grew up here, and then we ended up buying a house out here. Her parents are still out here, so it made sense. It wasn't, too far from home for me, and, and ended up being great for us through, times of COVID. We were able to grow into this house. We didn't have to, I hate moving. You tell me one thing, I hate moving,
Right.
But, so she grew up here her whole life, and so it's been great. It's been 8 years, and we're both sometimes overly involved in the community, but I love it. It's a great town.
There's not such a thing, is there?
I'm talking to the wrong guy about that.
right. I'm overly involved in everything, which sleep's optional at this point.
Yeah, tell me about it now.
Yes. Okay, the other thing that I noticed on here, so tell me about your partner with the 28 Mile Distillery.
Oh, God,
you have your
total coincidence. Right, yeah, and then I think I found out it's my head, actually. 28 Mile Distilling they're actually out of Highwood. It's actually owned by the alderman of Highwood, Eric Fulberg, and ran by Mike Loveland, two great guys out there. I've just gotten involved with them a lot on, let's call it digital marketing again. Right. Great event space, great pizza, great cocktails, but finding ways for them to give back to the community. We actually just, connection between me and them, and actually was part of the Veterans Path to Hope Spirit event, with a bunch of great distilleries and breweries that came together to raise money for Veterans Path to Hope, getting them more involved out in the local community. You can find them in Benny's, Costco, stuff like that. But I'm working with them to try to get on the ground and get with the people again. So
Nice.
It's been fun, and it's great stuff.
Fun. Okay, so I'm looking through this huge list of things, and I think anybody listening right now is like, "Holy shit, he does a lot. He does a lot of things, man."
Yes.
Yeah. So I see why, with having a 9-to-5 job, how all of these things are. I mean, at some point, we have to pour our time and our energy into certain things. So, if anybody wants to find out more about your photography, if they need stuff like that, where do they go? Where do they find you? What's the best way to do it?
Yeah, I think the easiest way, my website, eric-bohl.com.
And it's Bohl.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. And Eric with a C.
Oh,
Let's just clarify that.
yes,
C.
that's good. 'Cause, yeah, see all these curveballs you throw in there.
Yeah, right.
In digital marketing, you should be very clear about your website.
Who my brand identity is. Yeah.
Right, exactly. I find it funny that we have so much in common, and our last names rhyme as well.
Yeah. Don't even go there because I thought about that too.
Yep. Eric Bohl and Dave Wohl.
That's
yes.
a podcast in itself right there.
Hence the reason we're sitting here, and we're gonna have a drone off too. Which that I think we should really do.
I
that.
think we
That'd be
should.
fun.
That'd be fun. Heck,
Just a nice, friendly Grayslake drone off.
Let's
so
do it.
Yeah.
We'll get the.
What are you flying, by the way, so I can tell people which ones to shoot down?
I've got a couple DJIs.
Yeah, I'm a DJI fan.
Yeah,
forever.
big time. Yeah.
If you're gonna especially if you're gonna buy a drone for your kids, buy the DJI one because everybody complains they buy a drone. Wait, we had a drone on Christmas for 2 hours.
Yeah,
I'm like,
God.
really?
Or never even got it off the ground.
Or one flight.
Yeah.
And
right into a tree.
Right. And see, and I've only crashed 4 or so. That's expensive crashes though.
I've only crashed one once where it
just took off on you.
Well, I lost signal,
Right.
and it was just and it was the only time I ever really broke. I've crashed a couple other times, but it saved.
Yeah.
It was just proper too,
Yeah.
No big deal.
I just crash and break the cameras, so that's the
Ooh,
then
it's done.
But I do a lot of business indoor flying, so
Yeah.
with no signal for anything, and just flying blind basically. But yeah, that's always fun. Yeah, that's why you bring 2 to every job that you do.
We had somebody flying a drone for us at the Lake County Jeep Invasion last year inside the expo hall at the Lake County Fairgrounds. Got it stuck up in the rafters.
Ugh.
Yeah, that was a nightmare and a half. We eventually got it down, but it was.
I just call that a loss.
I mean, they would eventually gotten it, but because they have to go up there for other reasons. But it was just like, you got to be kidding. The odds of where it got stuck and how it got stuck was
and the odds of actually getting it stuck without crashing and falling down.
Yeah.
Yes. And just so everybody knows too, if anybody flying drones, that Eric and I both follow all the rules. That we don't fly
100%.
over people, we don't fly at night. We follow all of the
Don't
FAA
fly
regulations.
National state parks or anything
No,
like that. Never.
not a national state park or. I've never gotten a letter from the FAA, and I've never been almost arrested for that. For sure. All right. So what else do people need to know before we sign off? Because we're getting towards the end here.
Yeah, I'm gonna shout out one of my events. I'm gonna
Yes.
take a moment. I'm actually partnered with Harbor Brewing out of Lake Villa to do a headshot event. So if you're
I forgot to mention that. I'm sorry.
No, all good. So June 2nd, you got to sign up. You can, again, my Instagram, Facebook, Eric Bohl Creative. You can find it. It comes with your first beers on me. So check them out.
I suddenly need a headshot.
So if you're an artist, a professional, starting a new dating app, whatever, you just want some good photos of yourself, it's a super easy, laid-back event to get some studio quality photos.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And then what is the name of the podcast? When's it going to launch?
The podcast is called Digging In, and I think we have a tentative launch date of, I think it's April 15th. So it's coming up real quick.
Oh, April 15th. Tax Day.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good.
For all you business owners out there,
Right.
Ease the band, listen to my podcast.
Yes, while you're sitting at the accountant getting to get your last minute stuff done.
Oh,
and how many episodes do you have recorded?
I think we're at 15 recorded, and I've got a whole bunch lined up coming in the coming weeks.
Awesome. So you understand the whole process of what we do here, what it takes to
not
record
at all.
60, 70 episodes.
And I see some of these podcasts with hundreds of episodes, and it's just like, oh my gosh, and video, oh my gosh.
Right. And let's answer this question, because I know a lot of people have asked me. So Eric actually asked me, he's like, why aren't you shooting video for these?
And I'll give you the honest answer is that when we get done, a lot of times we take photos with the guests out here. And I'm not going to say it's men or women more, but sometimes we have to take 5 or 6 different pictures because people don't like the way they look in the photos before we post them out on for everybody to see.
Doing weddings.
Right, exactly. So, and I always say, can you imagine doing an hour-long podcast with somebody that didn't like the way they looked and they weren't happy with the way we put it out? So, plus it's a shit ton more work.
Oh my God, video work! I bless your soul, man, for the amount of video stuff you do outside of this. It's like video editing, man. It just it makes my head hurt.
Yeah, it's tedious.
Mm-hmm.
It's tedious, but you know what? It's funny how fast that I can work now because I've been doing it forever, but it's a lot of stuff. And I think the hardest thing in any creative industry, whether it's you shooting photos, us shooting video, us editing the videos, or even a podcast, what I think is cool or what I think looks great, the client must always, and it's hard.
Never. Oh, can you actually go back and change this?
Yes. Okay.
And let's go back to actually the other one. The original was actually better. Let's stay with that.
Really funny. Hence the reason I'm not done with my movie yet, because the first concept we had to change to the second concept, and now that we're at the second concept, we have to go back to the first concept. And after 100, 200 hours of editing to actually get that stuff done, frustrating. But at the end of the day, it's for a good cause, and hopefully we'll change some stuff, so that's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, I appreciate you spending your time with me.
Always.
I wish you the best of luck on everything. Give a shout out of one more time where people can donate to veterans and things like that.
Yeah. 2 places I would do. You can go directly to LakeCountyJeepClub.com, JeepForVets.com, or one of our biggest donor who we donate to is Veterans Path, which is vph.org.
Okay, awesome. And if I remember correctly, I'll put that all in the show notes so that people can go back and click straight through to there. But I want people to make sure to get out and support these events. We're looking forward to. I'm really looking forward to see how the art event's going to go and where you're going to end up.
Yeah, I'm going to try really hard to keep it at Siena. I would love to keep it here right here in Grayslake.
Yeah,
so
that's awesome. So people, please support that. Grayslake, thank you guys so much for listening, no matter where you're at, whether you're on Spotify, whether you're on YouTube listening, which I still don't understand, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, wherever you're at. Make sure to subscribe because that way you'll get an alert every week, actually twice a week for Grayslake on a new guest that comes on. And once again, I encourage you to listen to the people that you don't know sometimes because I think you'll get to learn more about their businesses and bring our community even closer together. So. And as we always say at the end, we never know what our friends are going through. Friends or maybe just a stranger on the street. So do me a favor and do one random act of kindness at the least today to make somebody smile. You never know how that can change their whole day around. So we appreciate everybody listening. Eric, thank you again, buddy.
Thanks, Dave.
Grayslake, we'll see you next Tuesday.